Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to Dice Paper Miniatures. In this episode, I kick off a new series I'm working on that's featuring each of the 18 legions that players can play in the upcoming Warhammer the Horus Heresy. Now, the framework I'm using for this series is basically looking at what the Warhammer community is presenting in each of these 18 articles. The lore, the general look and feel of the legion, and of course, its rule mechanics that they're willing to tease at this point. And then maybe down the road, I might have a follow-up as to how accurate I think that these articles presented each of the individual legions. But that would be a series for another time. All right, so again, that's the premises or framework for this series. I'm really excited to get started. And in this episode, maybe we saved the best for last? It is a bit of a mystery, but don't feel bad if you're confused. This is a legion that loves to make everyone wonder what the heck they're doing. That's right, it's the Alpha Legion, and only they know their motives. But one thing's for sure, they are a super cool looking and flavorful, lore-wise legion. And with that said, let's begin. All right, so here we are with the last legion of the 18 that we were given rule spoilers and some lore background leading up to the launch of the new Warhammer the Horus Heresy. So this is pretty cool. I don't know a whole lot about the Alpha Legion, but I think I'm in good company. I think that's kind of everyone is in that position where that's kind of the intention of this legion is you don't know a whole lot about this legion. And what you do know is probably a lie. Let's go ahead and read on. Yes, it's time to begin unwinding the coils of the 20th Legion's history. But first, a disclaimer is in order. Everything you read in the next few minutes could be a lie. See? Even this, especially this. The Alpha Legion is a twisting serpent at the Imperium's heart, a creature with many heads and many voices, a labyrinth of deception built by those trapped within it. Of course, you might feel confused. Don't worry, that's to be expected when getting to know, or not know, the Alpha Legion, rather than predictable stubbornness or blatant violence. Again, nothing wrong with either one of those. The 20th Legion prides itself on subtlety, and keeps much of its past to itself. Fortunately, we're on hand to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Ultimately, you can trust us. So here we have what is believed to be an image of Alfarius, possibly Omegon. What? 2 Primarchs, you say? Well, let's just keep reading. As you'd expect, precious little is known about the Legion's earliest years. Formally revealed long after many other legions were winning glorious victories and enforcing the Emperor's laws across Terra, the 20th were kept small and secretive, supposedly, numbering only a few thousand legionaries. The so-called Alpha stage, at which a proto-legion would be tested in the field. Rumors speak of unmarked squads conducting kidnappings, assassinations, and sabotage, overruling authorities with Alpha-level clearance codes. Occasional reports appeared of Space Marines at pivotal events that brought about the downfall of entire worlds, or fighting in the livery of other legions, or offering to covertly assist the first Primarch in his ambitions. It can't always have been the Alpha Legion, right? Yeah, it can't always have been. So here we have the Forge World sculpt of Alfarius, or Omegon. Again, we haven't got to that point yet, but the Alpha Legion is known for basically having 2 Primarchs, allegedly, Alfarius and Omegon. Alright, so even once Horus discovered their Primarch Alfarius leading a fleet of rebel humans at the galaxy's edge, the shenanigans only proliferated. The Legion rarely fought in force, but when they did, enemies found themselves mired in a swirling circus of ambushes and feints. Pinning down the Alpha Legion was like nailing water to the wall, but without a hammer or nails. I think that implies it's kind of difficult. Just a little bit. Alpha Legion campaigns were, in their own way, just as showy as the 3rd Legion. What's the point in being the smartest schemer around if no one knows it? Armed with adaptive toxins to sicken the hardiest Death Guard, wielding technology forbidden to the most inventive Iron Hand, they love to assert their superiority in displays of convoluted cruelty, believing themselves to be the alpha of the Legiones Astartes. It wasn't an attitude that endeared them to Roboute Guilliman. Leaving all that aside, did we mention that almost every member of the 20th Legion looks alike? Whether by design or gene seed mutation, each Space Marine bears a startling resemblance to his brothers. Even when you think you've got one dead to rights, it's probably just his second cousin thrice removed. All of a sudden, I think of that Weird Al song, I Think I'm a Clone Now, which is a spoof off of I Think I'm Alone Now. Yeah, look it up. That's all I'm going to say. Let's recap. What we can tell you with absolute certainty, they wear power armor and shoot bolters. That's all we've got, really. I mean, if that's all it takes to be a Space Marine, anyways. So here we have a cool painted up army from another content creator, Vince Venturella. Yeah, I'm sure probably anyone watching this knows who Vince is. These look great. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Looks like he kind of gave it a metallic sheen to it. And if you know anything about Vince, he has a very strong opinion on metallics. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a video of him, how he went about painting this Alpha Legion. So you could probably find that on the YouTubes as well. All right. Yeah, super cool paint job. So for the rules, again, supposedly, at last something we can be sure about, the rules. The Alpha Legion are so good at deception that their foes can't even trust their own lying eyes. Expertly aimed shots spin wide, and perfectly judged charges find nothing but a note saying, "Keep going." Oh, that's brutal. All the lies and obfuscation makes the sons of Alpharius harder to pin down, not just to say that word, than the speediest white scar. You can't even be sure that they're where they seem to be, on the tabletop. Oh, brother. Lies and obfuscation. A model with this special rule is always considered to be 2 inches further away than it actually is when measuring range to it from an enemy model for the purpose of resolving a shooting attack, charge, or any reaction declared by an enemy model or unit. This is cumulative with any other modifiers to range imposed by special rules such as night fighting or war gear. Wow, that is kind of bullshit. Oh man, okay. Legions beware. As if their list of crimes weren't long enough, the 20th Legion also has a light-fingered tendency with your best units. The rewards of treachery are high indeed. Imagine the look on the word-bearers' pious faces when their prize Ashen Circle squad turns up in one of Alpharius' family photos. What? Fancy more mystical support? The Thousand Suns can be bribed with limited edition books to supply you with psychic terminators. Pro tip from the Alpha Legion. If other Primarchs start to complain you're copying their homework, just say, "I'm Alpharius," and walk away while they're confused. The rewards of treachery. The controlling player of a detachment that has the Legiones Astartes Alpha Legion faction may select a single variant of the Legiones X special rule other than Legiones Astartes Alpha Legion when forming the detachment during army selection. The detachment may include a single unit that is normally only available to detachments with the variant of the Legiones Astartes X special rule that was selected. It's a lot of words that are not clear. Okay, a unit may only be selected if all models in that unit possess the Legiones Astartes X special rule, and no unit may be selected that includes any models with the unique unit subtype. Okay. Any unit selected using this special rule is paid for from the army points total and using force organization slots as part of that detachment as dictated by the unit's profile. However, all the models in the selected unit exchange their original Legiones Astartes X special rule for the Legiones Astartes Alpha Legion special rule. So basically it means you can play another unit from a different legion, assuming they don't have unique unit subtypes. I understand why they had to word it the way they did, but it's kind of a word salad. All right, but a cool ability for sure. Both their abilities are, I think, piloted in the right hands will make this particular legion really tricky to deal with. So here we have the Primarch. So here we have the Primarch again, Alpharius, Omegon. So it could be Alpharius, could be Omegon. Homeworld unknown. Sure. That's probably true. How was Alpharius found? Even he lies about his upbringing. So we're just going to pick the origin story like we So we're just going to pick the origin story we liked best and run with it. Okay then. According to his own account, the Primarch barely made it past the Imperial Palace's front gate when his brothers were scattered across the galaxy. He was picked up by the Emperor as soon as he realized his 18 priceless children were missing. Apparently unwilling to reveal his son to the galaxy, the Emperor kept Alfarius' existence secret, which can't have been good for the young boy's self-esteem, when Horus got paraded around as the inaugural Primarch. Instead, he learned secrecy and manipulation from Malcador the Sigillite, disguising himself as a humble space marine during many of the early Crusades' most important events. Really, yes, the Emperor asked his first found son to pretend he didn't exist. Top-class parenting. Oof, that's probably true. Interested in the big twist? Alfarius had a twin. Amagon was found on the edge of known space, enslaved and twisted by the alien Slog. Slog, Slough, Slot. We'll go with Slot. A species of horrifying psychic predators. He hashed out an agreement with Alfarius to keep his dual existence hidden even from the Emperor himself. Even Sanguinius could have learned a thing or two about keeping deadly secrets. Undoubtedly, you notice this contradicts the story of Horus finding him. Good, you're paying attention. Yeah. Soon the twins took full advantage of their double lives, swapping places with each other to pull pranks on their enemies and avoid boring meetings. The line between Alfarius and Amagon blurred with each passing campaign, the brothers coming to see themselves as one soul inhabiting two bodies. Much as you'd expect, when it came time for the twin Primarchs to choose their loyalties in the Horus Heresy, they sided with the only Primarch who'd shown any appreciation for their abilities, Horus himself. Or did they? Rumor has it that a prophetic Xenos think tank known as the Cabal swayed Alfarius to their side, revealing that chaos would only be defeated if Horus emerged victorious. Aggravatingly, even a question as simple as whose side are you on is met with a shrug by the Alpha Legion, who continued to act with wild unpredictability, even getting into a shootout with the Iron Warriors while the drop site massacre was raging on the other side of the galaxy. Duplicitous as ever, the Alpha Legion helped the Raven Guard escape the aftermath of the drop site massacre, even though they'd been gunning them down days earlier. Okay, in typical trickster fashion, this all turned out to be part of a ruse to make Corvus Corax even more miserable than usual, going so far as to surgically attach the faces of dead Raven Guard to their own. Wow, to remain incognito. That's real commitment to a bit. Well, I didn't know that part either. That's crazy. Events turned against them when Alfarius spearheaded an operation to take the dwarf planet Pluto after Sigismund blew up its moons in the traitor fleet's face. Rogel Dorn apparently liked Pluto quite a lot because the Primarch of the Imperial Fist slingshotted his flagship around Sol to reach it in double quick time, before jamming a giant chainsaw through Alfarius' head. All right then. Which is a pretty surefire way to make sure the Legion doesn't sheen all over your plans again. You'd think, anyway, despite having his head cut in half, Alfarius was fine. He returned to the field shortly after. Was this really Amagon? Was it Amagon who died on Pluto? Was it either of them to begin with? Did the Horus Heresy even happen? Man, at this point, I don't know. That's a cool shot of a Legion right there. All right. Or maybe it didn't even matter who was in charge. The Alpha Legion continued to plague the Loyalist cause in the run-up to the Siege of Terra showdown, while also helping out occasionally, because reasons. Jeez, so convoluted. So a little bit more Legion lore, whether or not it's, true, it's still under the classification of Legion lore. Usefully, Black Library's Horus Heresy series pieces together a few factual events around the Alpha Legion that were about 80% sure actually happened. Dan Abnett's Legion reveals the twisting plots of the Cabal as they attempt to bring Alfarius into the fold, and reveals the true nature of chaos for the first time in the series. I listened to that on Audible. So that part of their, lore I did know. But it was a good book for sure. Looking ahead, Praetorian of Dorn gives an account of the attack of Pluto told from the perspective of the Imperial Fists, and gives what they think is an accurate account of the 20th Legion's attack, which, as we should know by now, probably isn't true either. Or you'd rather go even further back, Alpharius, head of the Hydra, reveals surprisingly intimate details about the Primarch's early life, in his own words no less, before going on to admit it was a lie to begin with. Yeah, we're done here. All right, so of course there's a painting guide, which is probably the only true thing here, on how to paint an Alpha Legion Marine. So yeah, it is a very fun, flavorful, if you like plots and twists and things like that. They got a cool look, cool iconography. Admittedly, I'm not a huge fan though of the Forge World model for Alpharius or Omegon. We'll just say the Primarch. It's not bad, and I could see an argument made that it's really good. It's just I think it's it's sculpted well, it's posed well. The details are fine. Maybe it's just the actual design of this particular character. You know, I'm not sure how I feel about the scale armor. On paper, that sounds good. I don't know if it necessarily reproduces well in actual physical form, but whatever. I know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you do too. But anyways, the rules are definitely cool. This Rewards of Treachery, very nice. There's this trope in other games where it's like you play a primary guild, but then you can or faction, team, army, whatever, and you can kind of hire on like a mercenary unit. That's kind of how this feels, but instead of hiring kind of a randomized mercenary unit, you're literally getting a charity pick from all of the other legions in the game, for the most part, a unit you like to incorporate into your army. That's pretty powerful. Is it game breaking? Is it a bit of a gimmick? Yes to both of those, probably. But again, it gives a feeling of being fun to do that. And, again, if we're not here to have fun, why are we doing this, right? So I think it's a fun rule for sure. From a competitive standpoint, it could cause some issues maybe, but it's definitely, I think, a fun, flavorful rule. And, but lies and obfuscation, that rule, I feel like there needs to be an FAQ, because I get they could be 2 inches further. On one hand, it seems very obvious. On the other hand, it seems like it could be a little tricky. So hopefully they have a little FAQ, kind of like a note off, maybe as a footnote in the rule book on that kind of just defines that a little bit more clearly. I think I know what it's trying to say, but I could see this being an issue from time to time. At least for the first time you play Alpha Legion. Then once you play them once, then obviously you know how that rule works real quick. All right, but what do you think of this Legion? Is this one of your favorite ones? One you're thinking of actually playing, or why not? If you're what about it do you like? What about it do you not like? I would definitely like to see your comments below on that for sure. And as I mentioned before, I have a number of other Legion videos. This being the last one implies that I've gotten all the other ones edited and posted. So all 18 lore and rule teaser videos for each of the Legions should be out now if you're seeing this one. So if you did like this one and you want to get a little bit of, I guess, information on those other Legions, as well as my reaction to the articles, definitely check those videos out. And if you haven't yet and you've enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and sharing this content with your friends. It really does help with the growth of the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. Well, that's it for this one. As always, I hope you're doing well. Be safe, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.